Hi, this is Alex Humbrick, the Sports Information Director at Chadron State College, and I'm sitting here this morning with Chadron State women's basketball coach Tim Connealy. The Eagles played one of their final road trips of the season on the western range of Colorado, falling at Western State 74-64, and then that was followed by a tough 82-37 setback at Colorado Mesa. The Mavericks entered the game as the number 7 ranked team in the nation. They're currently ranked number 4 after the new top 25 came out on Monday. Coach, just real briefly talking about the weekend, looking at Western State. One of those games where you really needed Sadie Waugh, your lone senior, a tough physical rebounder, a presence in the middle, but she was unable to play because of a sternum injury, which really was kind of the difference with all the Western's offensive boards.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint, she was a big difference in that basketball game, primarily because of the defense we were playing. Western State doesn't shoot the ball very well from the perimeter, so we employed a 2-3 defense. And what Sadie does a good job of is just eating up space in the middle of the paint, and when she's able to be in the middle of that zone, she can get a lot of defensive rebounds, and it's hard to get those when you're running a zone, just because you don't have a specific boxing out responsibility. You don't have a man. You have to box out an area. And Sadie Waugh, she rebounds areas very well. And we gave up 17 offensive rebounds, and in a close game like that, 17 extra possessions. Even if she gets 4 or 5 of those, that could be the difference of the game.
Got a really nice performance from sophomore Dallas Shaw with a career-high 23 points. She hit 7 three-pointers, which I know is something you were happy to see. She's kind of struggled with her shot as of late, and so she was definitely on that night. And then also another double-double from Katie Ranta. I believe she finished with 12 points, but more importantly, 15 rebounds. Yeah,
those kids played really well. Dallas shot the ball well, and when Dallas is shooting the ball well, a couple things have to go right. Defensively, they have to lose her a little bit and realize that, she is a good shooter, and her teammates have to do a great job of finding her, because when teams know Dallas Shaw can shoot the ball well from the three-point line, and they really scheme against her. And when she moves well off the ball and her teammates can find her, she's able to get those open looks. And it's not just the 7 makes, that's important. It's the 15 shot attempts, and usually she doesn't get that many shot attempts from the three-point line. When she is, her teammates are doing a good job of finding her.
And then on Saturday, the Eagles played at Colorado Mesa. As I mentioned, Colorado Mesa is among the cream of the crop in Division II, especially the RMAC. They've only lost 1 game this entire season, and they played like one of the top teams on Saturday, outscoring Chadron State by a sizable margin in the first half. But to your girls' credit and to your coaching staff's credit, you didn't just pack the bags and get ready to come home. You still played tough in the second half, and I know that you were happy with the effort that your team employed in the second half.
Yeah, in the first half, it was just kind of like we ran into a buzzsaw, and our kids didn't know what hit them, and we just couldn't recover. We tried calling a few timeouts. I called more timeouts in the first half than I ever have, just trying to calm them down. But, our kids were just in shock a little bit, and it took us going into that locker room and just really being calm with them to get them to calm down and understand what we need to do to get better as a team. And I thought in the second half they came out and, we were working on a little bit of a different zone defense. And we really kind of challenged them in the second half to focus on this zone and, more importantly, focus on communication. And when we started talking a little bit better in the zone in the second half, we started to get in some stops. You could see the confidence start to go up a little bit and it carry over onto the offensive end. But, no, these kids are pretty resilient. They haven't quit all year, and I thought they did a good job of that in that second half of competing with one of the best teams in the country.
Well, the Eagles will be back in action this weekend, actually playing their final homestand of the 2012-2013 season. They will host Colorado Christian on Friday at 6 p.m. and Colorado School of Mines Saturday at 6. Coach, looking at Colorado Christian, actually a team you're probably the most familiar with this season. It'll be the 3rd time that you've faced the Cougars this season. You actually opened the season for them at a tournament in Metro State, and then they, of course, played in the home-and-home Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference games. You guys played there in early December. The Cougars are currently 6th in the RMAC, but they're kind of up and down. They had won 3 in a row, but they're coming off a loss 54-45 at Metro State. Tell us a little bit of what you know about the Cougars. I know they employ a unique defensive system, and they kind of play like that, but it'll probably be a slower-paced game for you guys.
We're hoping it's a slower-paced game for us. They like to speed the game up a lot, and they do that with those with those defense you were talking about. They run a full court to three-quarter court 2-2-1. It's not an overly aggressive trapping type press, but they just like to speed the game up and get you into spots on the floor where they can really take advantage of ball handlers or lack of ball handlers. And When they do that, they're able to, like I said, really speed the game up. They're able to increase the possessions of the game, which is how they play. They like to play an up-tempo game. They drop back into a 2-3 zone where you don't have to eat up as much energy busting through screens, playing a man-to-man, so they can save that energy to run up and down. What we're going to try to do is just really focus on ball security. If we have to get deep into the shot clock, that's okay. Sometimes it may take us, 8 to 15 seconds to break this zone press, and if it takes us that long, we're telling our kids just to be patient. Even if it takes up to 20 seconds, we'd rather eat up that time than get risky and turn the ball over. If that gives us 10 seconds in the half court to get a shot up a couple times, we just need to be okay with that. So hopefully our kids are pretty disciplined, especially on the offensive end, so we can slow the game down.
The Cougars, who are 13-8 overall, 10-7 in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, have actually forced 440 turnovers. 237 of those turnovers have been steals. So as Coach mentioned, they're a defense that will get after you. Taylor Torres leads the Cougars in scoring at 14.7 points per game. 2 others join her in double figures. And then on Saturday, Coach, you'll welcome Colorado School of Mines, a team that you've been very familiar with, a team that actually Chadron State and Mines during your tenure here have had some really good games. One of those was in Golden earlier this year. Colorado Mines ended up winning 65-59, and they're kind of coming in as an up and down team as well. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games, and I know that you guys want to have a good performance honoring Sadie Waugh in her final home game.
Yeah, Mines is tough. They have lost 4 of the last 5, but they've had a pretty tough stretch these last 5 games. They're above 500. They're 9-8 in conference. And as you mentioned, it seems like these games we play against Mines are always grinders. They're always battles. It's a good atmosphere to play in. Our kids like it. It's always pretty physical, which is how we play. That's how they play. And neither team really backs down. We had a real great battle with them earlier this year at Colorado School of Mines, a game that, I thought our kids grew up a lot in, And coming in offensively, their system, they run a more of a motion type offense. Defensively, traditionally they've played a lot of man-to-man, which traditionally we have too. We haven't as of late, but very similar type teams, very similar type, coaching philosophy. So I expect it to be a physical, tough game, and it is Sadie Waugh's last game, and she's had, a good career here at Chadron State. I think it could have been a lot better, if not great, if it weren't for injuries. That being said, the kid's been battling for 2 or 3 years now through a lot of injuries, through a lot of physical pain on the floor. Her practice time has been limited this year, so you can kind of see that, in her conditioning and the number of minutes she's able to play. But, within those minutes, she's always been a competitor. She's always gone as hard as she could. She's never backed down from physicality, and that's something that, I've been really proud of her for.
And Sadie's also has been a pretty talented thrower for the Chadron State track and field team, so has certainly had a wonderful career. And I need to thank her for writing the blog for the women's basketball team. She's done a nice job with that as well. So, Coach, best of luck to you this weekend. Friday, when you host Colorado Christian, you're asking the fans to wear their pink clothing. That'll be on Friday night. That game tips off at 6. And then on Saturday, the Eagles will host the Ore Diggers of Colorado Mines. So best of luck to you.
All right, I appreciate it.